scanners is. A lot of people buy a computer with McAfee, Kaspersky, or something on it, free for 90 days. They don't renew it. They don't buy it. So for the next 5 years, they got a virus scanner that was only good for 90 days. Because viruses are signature-based. So they have to be told what the virus looks like. All right. Well, there it goes. All right. Now let's talk about some stuff here. Okay. This stuff will be covered a whole bunch in this class. Fundamentals, we have a sender, receiver, and transmission medium. I'm going to send you something. Right now I'm talking, so I'm the sender, you're the receiver, and my voice over the air is the medium. Okay. Plain text is text we can read. Easy enough. Ciphertext is text that's jumbled up. We can't read. Okay. It's been encrypted in one way or another. Okay. We can block messages. We can access messages. This is the same stuff I talked about in the last presentation. We can modify. We can fabricate. There's a lot of stuff we can do. And we're going to learn about different techniques to make all of these work better. Okay. Cryptography, it says using encryption to conceal plain text. Do we have to encrypt our stuff? Why don't we just do everything in plain text? Probably wouldn't be great. I mean, for especially your banking information, lots of other stuff. Yeah. Cryptanalysis is unauthorized code breaking. And cryptology is both of them put together. Okay. So cryptography is what we really cover in this class. All right. Breakable encryption says analysts can determine the algorithm giving enough time. So if I give you the ciphertext in enough time, you can probably figure it out. Okay? Theoretically breakable means it's practically unbreakable. It's like AES is going to take 149 trillion years to break. I want to know who exactly sat there for 149 trillion years to break it. I don't think anybody did. Okay? Brute force, you know, most of us have ATM cards. 4-digit PIN number? Seriously? I mean, it's not, it's not very secure. I don't know why they haven't changed that yet. I think it's crazy. Brute force, try every combination until you get it right. So, if you grab my set of keys, well, there's only one key on it. That wouldn't be a good choice. But maybe if I had 5 keys and you came to a door, you could try all 5 keys till you get in. That's what brute force is. Ingenious, maybe I just figured it out. It can happen. A lot of people that are very smart in this stuff. Okay. Then there's estimates of breakability based on the current technology. There's something called Moore's Law. Okay. It says the number of transistors on a chip doubles every 2 years. What that basically means is our computing power is doubling. Not necessarily the speed, but the overall power is doubling. Could be the bus speed, could be whatever. But it is. I mean, y'all agree computers are faster now than they were a few years ago? So I hate to buy computers. Because as soon as they sell you one, oh, you just bought the 2 gig drive? Well, now I got the 3 gig drive, or the 4 gig drive, or the whatever. There's always something better. You ever seen this movie, Bruce Willis? Mercury Rising. Pretty good movie. It's about this kid who likes doing crossword puzzles, basically. And he gets this puzzle book and solves it. And it turns out there's some secret code that the government puts out there that want to see if it can be broken. And the kid can just look at it and figure it out. Okay? Kind of a cool movie. How about Rain Man? Remember when he can memorize the entire phone book? There's people out there like that. That's not me. Remember, I think he dropped the toothpicks and knew how many he dropped. But that's real stuff. That's not fake. There's real people like that. You don't think they can look at stuff? My stepson drives me crazy. Yet, I explained binary to him. Y'all know what binary is? I explained it to him in like 5 minutes. A year ago. Totally understands binary. I explained octal to him in about 5 seconds. So, binary is base 2, octal is base 8. Totally got it. I said hexadecimal is base 16. 1 through 9, A through F. Oh, done, you got it. And he went to Auburn. He was so excited. He knew all this stuff. He went into his math teacher and he had no clue what he was talking about. We had a parent-teacher conference, and I said, so I heard David tried to explain binary. He goes, yeah, he was a little frustrated because I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. But David literally sits there on a whiteboard and writes a big old long message out in binary. Seriously? I don't even remember the ASCII values like that. And he's like, yeah, that says, feed the dog. I'm like, seriously? But there's people out there like that.
So the teacher didn't know what it was?
Had no clue. He heard of binary, but he hadn't used it. Because David literally wrote him a note or something in binary, and he was like, I've seen this, I really have no idea. And David's getting frustrated because he'll explain it to his friends, and they're like, dude, you're weird. But I just couldn't believe it. Over a year ago, we showed this to him. It's not like he plays with it every day. And he literally wrote feed the dogs in binary on the whiteboard. I'm like, seriously? I mean, that's out there. Okay. There's Keybase, and we're actually going to talk about all these, but Keybase ciphers are better than keyless. Okay? So if you got a lock that requires a key, it's normally better because you need the key to get in it. Okay? Normally you see it written like this, encryption key and decryption key. So we take the plain text P, encrypt it with the encryption key, that becomes ciphertext. Everybody see that? So if we took the ciphertext and decrypted it with the decryption key, that becomes plain text again, which is also the same thing there. It's not really complicated stuff, okay? Symmetric encryption, on the test, guaranteed, we can talk more about it too, where the encryption key and decryption key are the same. Asymmetric is when they're different. The easiest way to remember this, symmetric, same key, both start with S. Asymmetric, A, different, don't match. So symmetric, same key, okay? Guarantee it's on every test. In case you're wondering, all three tests have symmetric and asymmetric. Symmetric is an encryption algorithm where the same key is used both for encryption and decryption. The key must be kept secret. Since it's the same key, so if me and Cameron are communicating and Cameron lets the key out, what happened to my key? It's gone as well because it's the same key. So, bad stuff, okay? It's also known as secret key or private key encryption. AES is symmetric. It's faster than asymmetric, okay? One key per channel. So in other words, me and Cameron want to talk. We need one key. Me and Marlene want to talk. We need one key, and that's the only names I know, so I can't say anybody else. I can't. Okay, so if you have the n number of users, the formula for calculating the number of keys is n times n minus 1 divided by 2. So in other words, okay, 4 users is 4 times 4 minus 1 divided by 2, comes out to be 12, which is 6. If you want to see A, B, C, D are my users over there, if you were to draw lines between each of the A, B, C, D, you will see there are 6 lines. I was going to do more, but that gets way too complicated to draw that many lines. So the formula for calculating the number of keys in symmetric is n times n minus 1 divided by 2. We'll be on every test in this class. Okay? We have authentication as long as the key is kept secret. Distribution becomes a problem because Cameron's in Russia, he's my spy. I need to get him the key. How do I do that? Well, we're going to learn how to do that in another lecture. Okay? Management is an issue. We have to keep them secret. We have to activate them. We're going to have to get it to them, that kind of stuff. Okay? So if we have 8 users, how many keys? N times n minus 1 divided by 2. So it's 8 times 7 divided by 2, 28. Very basic math. Very, very basic. Hopefully you all are this far in math. I mean, hopefully. Okay. Asymmetric is also known as public key encryption. 2 keys per users. I have a key and Cameron has a key. I encrypt, he decrypts. Okay? 2n. That's it. So 4 users, each is 2, so 4 times 2 is 8. That one's easy. Okay? We You have authentication as long as the private key is kept private, which we'll talk a whole bunch more about that. Okay. Management is simplified. So if me and Cameron are communicating, I got the private key and he's got the public key. So I encrypt it, he can decrypt it. As long as my key stays private, we're good. But if I accidentally lose my key, well, then we have the same issue. All right, we have a substitution cipher. We have transposition ciphers. We're going to run out of time. Okay. Substitution is replace one with another. Transposition is just mix them up. Okay. Monoalphabetic cipher. This is the Caesar cipher. This is what your first assignment is. You need to write a program to do this. Basically, we shift every letter by 3. That's what the Caesar cipher is. Okay? You'll see, they're all moved over by 3. Is that a good encryption technique? No, but if we're talking back in Caesar's time, that's with carriages and skirts and swords. This was probably pretty good back then. Okay, so if we shifted 3 letters to the right, return to Rome becomes that. I mean, if I wrote this on a piece of paper now, it'd take us a little while to figure out. But with computers nowadays, it'd be like, oh, return to Rome. Done. Pretty simple. Okay? All right, monoalphabetic ciphers with a key. Now we're actually encrypting based on something else. We're not just shifting it, we're actually encrypting it with a key. Okay? We could just substitute letters out as well. Yeah, we cover these in much more depth. This is just a very basic intro of it. Okay? But how can we break a monoalphabetic cipher? Something called frequency distribution. It's called the index of coincidence. Okay? For instance, the English language has an index of coincidence of 0.0667. Anyone know what the most popular letter is in the English alphabet? E. Very good. E. Perfect. So, if I saw a bunch of jumbled letters, and I went through there and found the most popular letter, say it was Q. I said, aha, there's more Q's than anything, so I'm going to replace the Q with an E. And did that for the frequency of letters in the English language. You can see how we could break the cipher. Y'all understand that? Okay. How can we fix that? By using polyalphabetic ciphers, which we cover next time. Okay, here we go. Letter E is the most popular. That's why Will, Fortune, NL, STR, and E, I mean, they're the most popular letters. So, you know, you can use frequency distribution to break it. Okay. All right, index of coincidence is a statistical measure of text that distinguishes text encrypted with a substitution cipher from plain text. All right. It's introduced by this guy in 1992. Called the most important single publication in cryptography. Here's how it works. 1922. Okay. So, it's the probability of 2 randomly selected letters being identical. So imagine a hat with 26 letters in it. A through Z. So if I pick out an A, there's 1/26 chance I get an E. Y'all agree with that? Now, what if I have 2 hats? What's the chance I pull an A out of both? 1/26 and 1/26. Okay? The chance of drawing pairs are for the 26 letters in the alphabet is 1/26 times 1/26, which equals 0.0385, which is for an evenly distributed alphabet. Remember, that's evenly. That's 1A, 1B, 1C. But what if all of a sudden I threw in 13 E's based on the frequency? That's why that number changes. So, suppose we fill the hats with 100 letters, okay? With each letter corresponding to the average frequency. So, out of those 100 letters, I would have 13 E's, 8 A's, 3 C's, so on and so forth, based on the frequency of the English language, which we just talked about. The chance of drawing them for A's would be 8 out of 100. Remember, there's 8 A's in there. So 8 over 100 times 8 over 100, plus the number of C's, plus the number of E's. If you did that for the entire language, you would end up with 0.0667. Okay? That's English. So I can take text and determine if it's English just by doing this. And I do cover this again next class, Barry, too, in case you're wondering. So why are they different for different languages? And when I say, have you ever seen Spanish, German, or Chinese? I mean, they have different letters, the different frequency of letters, the different number of letters. Chinese isn't even letters, it's pictures. All right. How is this useful? Index quizzes can be used to test if text is plain text or ciphertext. I can look at text and see if it's plain or not. Okay? That's a test question, by the way. Okay? Text encrypted with a substitution cipher would have an index coincidence closer to 0.0385, which is random. Okay? So English is 0.0667. It says we can score. Basically, it helps us solve encryption easier. I will give you another short lecture on this. Okay? I think that's the end of this. Okay. Yeah, we're going to cover polyalphabetic next time. That was just a teaser to get you started. Everybody okay? Now your first assignment is up there. Take a look at it. It's just to write a program in some language, including pseudocode, to solve the Caesar cipher. So I found that I can tell you what the Caesar cipher is. I just did. It's shifting by 3. But when you got to write a program to solve it, that's when you actually understand how it works. So if I'm shifting letters by 3, everybody understand how that works? What if I have a Z? Do I shift it to a question mark or an underscore? You got to start over. So your program has, oh, I got a Z. Crap. What do? I got to go back to the A. So that's why writing the program makes you think about it more. I like it in 2 weeks. If you have an issue programming, I will give you an automatic extension. You just need to ask for one. Okay? Problem is, I don't want you to put it off and put it off and put it off until December 11th comes and, oh crap, it's due in 5 minutes and the class is over. So, all right, that's the end of this recording, and we will pick it up next Tuesday.